What's going on, guys? It is me, Tyson the Trainer, back with another video, back with another Q&A, because I didn't finish all the ones I wanted to. I am wearing my serial killer merchandise today, serial killer. And it's funny because one thing I realized is I don't wear my shirt a lot, even though I love it, because I always represent other people. I'm always happy to, help friends and things like that who have their own companies and do cool shirts. But like, I do realize I have to brand myself at the end of the day. So for those of you listening and watching, Serial Killer is my brand. I basically made it up because I fucking love cereal. For those of you who've been following me for a long period of time, you know about my cereal wall. I used to have it up on the wall with all the different things, and that just kind of became my shtick, right? And it's still something I do enjoy. I just don't post about it as much, which makes me think I should post about it more. And this is also the brand. When you join when you join the coaching with me, regardless of what you're doing, training, nutrition, or both, you get a serial killer shirt. Okay. I also have serial killer products on my website. You can get serial killer socks. I'm gonna make serial killer. We can buy serial killer shirts, or eventually gonna get serial killer anabolic mugs. Okay. So there's your 1 minute and 15 seconds of my own sponsored ad. But we are going to be continuing on with the Q&A here because I did miss out on it last time. So plenty of questions to get through today. I think basically I can't remember what I talked about for the most part. Oh yeah, I talked about pre-bed sleep food. I talked about training steroids, and I'm pretty sure I talked about, there was one other that I can't think of. Fasted cardio, my thoughts on that. So very happy with the way that Oh, and water weight fluctuations, that's right. So we're going to basically keep going on from here. The first question, what to do for weight progress? More weight and less reps, or same weight and more reps to do it safely? Okay, so this is known as what we say progressive overload. Okay, and basically progressive overload means each week you were trying to overload more than you did last week. All right, now usually this progressive overload will come in the form of volume. Okay, because we can increase the amount of weight we use, we can increase the amount of sets we use, or we can increase the amount of reps we use. Okay, so if you did 10 reps last week of an exercise for a certain amount of weight, let's say 60 kilos for 10 reps for 3 sets. If you do 60 kilos for 12 reps for 3 sets, you've increased the volume, because the overall number of how many times you've moved 60 kilos is now 36 instead of 30, okay? And then so you've done an extra 360 kilos worth of work, if that makes sense. Just because, if you did 30 reps in total, so 3 sets of 10 with 60 kilos, okay, that's 1,800 kilos of total volume, all right? If you've done 3 sets with 12 reps, now you've done an extra 6 reps, okay? So instead of 1,800, you're adding an extra 360. So you've actually done 2,160 kilos worth of total volume. And so increasing the volume is progressively overload, and each time the volume goes up each week, you are getting more stimulus, more hypertrophy, more strength gains for the most part. You can progressively overload with weight too, but sometimes when we progressively overload with weight, the volume will not increase because you're maybe doing more weight and less reps, but you are focusing on strength gains there, and it's still progressive overload, okay? So the overall thing is here, based on your goals, whether it's to be predominantly stronger, whether it's to build up hypertrophy, which is build muscle, whatever you want to do, regardless, you have to progressively overload, okay? And not always more volume does not equal to more gains, because you still at some point have to increase the load that you're using. So with this question, is it better to use heavier weight, less reps, or lighter weight with, or the same weight with more reps? It's going to very much depend on the exercise you're doing, okay? So most compound exercises, you should be, trying to increase your weight each week. Now, again, this is going to depend on the size of the individual, the experience of the individual, the sex of the individual, a lot of different things. Because males are just going to continue, not continuously. Males have a higher chance of being able to bench press and overhead press and use their upper body strength more to continuously increase each 1 to 2 weeks, especially if you're a beginner. A male's going to quite easily get to that 60 kilo mark on a bench press and keep moving on from there with that. So they can increase the weight more often, more frequently. Females cannot. Okay, because females are smaller, right? Females have less muscle mass. Females have weaker upper body compared to males. Not being biased, that's just the facts. As a broad statement, if you're in the gym, okay? Males are just technically going to be stronger than females. So that means that females will not be able to increase their bench press as much, or their overhead press as much, or their shoulder press, right? But on the lower body side of things, your deadlifts, your Romanian deadlifts, your squats, any compound exercise, and compound means moves a lot of muscles, okay? So if I'm doing a bicep curl, for those of you watching, you know, if you move your arm, I'm literally just pivoting from my elbow, okay? And all I'm doing is my biceps here, right? If I'm doing a squat, I'm using my quads, I'm using my hamstrings, I'm using my glutes, I'm using my calves, I'm using my core, I'm using a lot of extra muscles, right? And when I use extra muscles, I can when I'm recruiting or using extra muscles, I can move more weight. So the more body parts that are involved in an exercise, the more likely you are to increase the weight. The less body parts you have, the more likely you're going to increase the reps. So I would say do both, okay? Always with your compounds, try and increase the weight. And if you can't, increase the reps, okay? With the isolation stuff, you know, with the single body part movements like bicep curls, tricep push downs, you know, skull crushes, side lateral raises, things that are targeting one specific muscle group, just try and increase the reps. Okay, so that's basically the easiest way to do it. Now, again, you're not going to be able to continuously keep increasing weight every week because otherwise we'd all be fucking, you know, squatting 500 kilos plus. So when you can't increase the weight, increase the reps, or you're going to find a place where you're stuck on a weight for a certain period of time, and you know, maybe even doing 1 rep extra each week is going to benefit you a little bit of extra gains. Okay, so always just try and think, no matter what, can I do better than last week through my reps, through my weight, or increasing the sets, which means you add in an extra set to your program based on how much time you have. And that's basically the way you can progressively overload and get better. You can also do other things like adding in tempo work, so, you know, controlling the movement. So instead of, you know, usually it's like a 1 to 2 second lowering or eccentric, and then, you know, a fast concentric. It could be like a 3 or 4 or 5 second eccentric, which means it just takes longer to lower that exercise. So like, you know, if you're doing, let's say Romanian deadlifts, okay? So as you're going down, instead of just going, you know, straight down, straight back up, you're counting to 3. All right, so you're like 1, 2, 3. Get to the bottom and then coming back up, because tempo is going to create more tension, right? And so tempo is going to make the exercise harder because you're slowing the exercise down. And that means if you can't increase the weight because it's a bit too hard and you focus on tempo, you're just, you know, making another type of overload on your body, which can increase hypertrophy gains at the end of the day. So it's very different. There's plenty of ways to skin a cat, all right? But at the end of the day, it's just about, like, you know, what's within your strength parameters. So as long as you are somehow trying to make your workout tougher and you are progressing in that, and when I say progressing, you know, again, increasing weight, increasing reps, or just doing something better than you did last week, even if you stay at the same weights, but you're focusing on increasing the tension through your body, your mind-muscle connection, and just form in general, like, that's the best thing. The amount of people, especially, you know, because females are focusing on the glutes at the moment. So I have most of my females doing hip thrusts, right? A lot of them, I actually tell them to scale back their hip thrusts a little bit, like weight-wise, and focus on the squeeze. Same things, a lat pull down. Because, like, yes, we can always increase weight, but weight increase doesn't always help with the mind-muscle connection, especially with posterior work, because we can't see our back, we can't see our hamstrings, we can't see our glutes. And so sometimes we can actually get lost without the mind-muscle connection because we're chasing the weight. And you really need to think about when you're doing the exercise, do I feel it in the right muscle group, okay? I'm actually going to write that down as a note because that is a great topic I can talk about, feeling the exercise in the muscle group desired. Type, desired. Just because, like, you know, I think that in itself, a lot of people need to be aware of that. You know, it's that mind-muscle connection type of thing. So I'm going to cover more on that. So there we go. Good topic. All right. So I hope that made sense. Next one. Do I have a great advice for PT starting out? Yes. Grind. Work long hours. Say yes to everything. Show up every day. Show up on time. Smile. Make your clients feel welcomed. Learn how to talk to people. Like, the best, like, honestly, I am not the most smartest PT. You know, there were PTs where I worked who were way smarter than me in anatomy. I was smartest in nutrition because, like, PTs there were PTs. You know, none of them I don't think did nutrition. Except for one guy who did bodybuilding, who would live by, like, the old school mentality. Used to make, like, his lunches used to be tilapia with veggies and peanut butter, like, in a little corner for his healthy fats, all in one lunchbox, right? He used to make his clients eat eggs after a workout. Like, fuck, it makes me laugh when I think about that. And so, like, you know, he doesn't listen to the current like, you know, he talks about all the bodybuilding things. It's like, mate, you know, this is 2022. Well, actually, it was 2021 when I left. This is 2021. You should know these things. Like, when I left, he was still teaching these habits. And I'm like, you should know better, right? So with that, you know, I was busier than nearly all the PTs there for the most amount of time. Like, I had 40 sessions a week, because I could speak to people. If you get good at speaking and you get good at caring, that's going to carry you a large majority of the way. Because most people, literally most people who come to see you for PT, they're normal people who have a stressful job, who don't know how to exercise properly, who want someone to speak to, not everyone, but most part, and they just need to be told what to do. So, always be there with a smile, always make people feel welcome, always have them leaving the session feeling better than they did when they came in, and just keep showing up, say yes. Like I used to stay in the gym 5 a.m. until like 6 or 7 p.m. I live like 15 minutes down the road, so I'd go home for lunch and shit like that. But I used to stay in the gym all the time, and I'd talk to people, I'd talk to members, make sure everyone knows your name, say hello to everyone, ask them what they're working out, like I played the long-term game. I was always there talking to people because I had people who train with me after 4 years of me being there, and I've been talking to them since day dot. Because people are they're not ready to buy right now from you, everyone. And people are going to be on their own journey, and some people want to watch, and they want to see what you like, and they want to see what you do. And, I've had people come up, hey, I watch how you train clients, I like, how you are, I want to train with you. And so that's, that's basically the best thing. Get good at people's skills, right? And the more extroverted you are, probably the more luckier you are that you're going to pick up clients relatively easy. And that's unfortunate for people who are introverted, but it's like, learn to talk more. Right? Because anyone can get a fucking program. Anyone can write a program. But people are going to buy you based on who you are, okay? People aren't buying me because they're like, Tyson's the smartest person ever, because I'm definitely not, And if we were choosing coaches based on knowledge, there is ridiculously amount. Like, I would choose heaps of people who are above me. But guess what? It's not just about the knowledge. It's about how you relate to someone. It's about how the person feels about you. It's about that they know, like, and trust you. So again, just get really good at people skills. And obviously, like, at the end of the day, you're going to have to know basics when it comes to training, so you can actually train someone properly. But most people are just going to be in there, they're going to want to just get pushed a little bit, they're going to want to chat, that's about it. Like, training people in person is not that complex, all right? It's not. It's really not. Like, I really had the basic programs. Most people trained 3 days a week. They train with me once or twice. So you get a 3-day full body program. It was always full body. It was always having a squat, a hinge, a twist, a lunge, add in some fun stuff. They like bicep curls and things like that. Like, they were very easy, simple exercises and routines that I created because that's what people wanted, Like, I'm not going to overwhelm a client because in Sydney, especially, most of my clients worked in the city, right? They were working long hours, sometimes 14, 15-hour days. Like, I have some clients, I got home at 2 o'clock this morning, and they're here for a 6 a.m. session. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, I could not imagine doing that. But they would show up because they work long jobs in the city. And so the last thing they want is, all right, we've got a 3-second eccentric followed by, 3-second eccentric goblet squats, followed by tempo, blah, 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 followed by this, and then into an inverted lunge. Like, they're going to be like, what? And especially, like, I've had clients who've been with me for years. The one client, who in particular, he was with me for 6 years, right? Oh, no, sorry, 7, because the only reason he's not with me now is because he's online, because I left in-person gym. And he started with me when I first started, or like the first year in, sorry. So he has been with me for 6 years, not 7. And I was like, all right, we're going to do goblet squats, okay? And he starts doing lunges. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, goblet squats. And I was like, nah. And I showed him. He's like, oh, yeah, that's right. I've been training him for 6 years. We've done goblet squats plenty of times, right? We've done lunges plenty of times. But people come in there to switch their brain off and just to listen and talk to you. So again, as long as you're good at people skills, you're going to be a good trainer, okay? People skills and really basic knowledge about how to get someone fitter and healthier. That's really all you need as a PT. Cool. Next question. Thoughts on the 75 hard challenge? Okay. Okie dokie. Let's strike me down. No. I like who Andy Frisella is, all right? For those of you who don't know, he's the guy who invented the 75 hard challenge. I think he's great because he is a lot about mental toughness, a lot about being not hardcore, but what am I trying to think about? He's a self-development kind of guy, wants people to get to their full potential and things like that. And he made 75 hard because he wanted a challenge to do for himself to get back on track. All right, and the 75 hard challenge, for those of you who don't know, it's like drink 1 gallon a liter a day, exercise twice a day, read a book, read a certain amount of pages a day. Let's have a look, 75 hard challenge, just so I can remember to tell you what it is. So it's follow a diet, Work out twice a day for 45 minutes, drink 4 liters of water a day, read 10 pages of non-fiction a day, take 5 minutes cold shower, take progress photos every day, perform other unrelated tasks like a random act of kindness or talk to someone in person daily. Okay? That is a lot, in my opinion, to do. Okay? And people get excited because they're like, oh, it's a challenge. It's something that I'm ready to go balls to the wall in. You know, it's something I want to dive deep into. And it's just like for me, I'm like, fucking hell, man. I do not like the balls to the wall mentality because a lot of people can't even fucking do the basic stuff. And we think we need some ridiculous challenge for 75 days that's going to sort you out. And there is always going to be people who have testimonials that it works for, because there are those people that they just get click into gear, they do what they need to do, and they get it done, all right? But here's the thing. Do those people maintain all those good habits, all right? 42 sessions of 45-minute workouts a day, all right? Half of you can't even fucking go for a walk every day or get the gym in once a day for a whole week. Yet we're going to go twice a day sessions, all right? Well, that's pretty fucking unsustainable. Okay, so I don't agree with that at all, right? Unless it's like you're going to do a 45-minute walk once a day and then you're going to do a 45-minute gym session. Okay. Or you're going to do 45-minute walk every day and you're going to go to the gym 3 times a week. Much better goal, right? Like that's just a little bit too extreme in my opinion, because like, okay, so that's an hour and a half of your day taken out. Let's take out commute time. Let's take out waking up, going to sleep, you know, so 8 hours of sleep. Most of you will sleep 7, so let's say 7 hours of sleep. So now you have 17 hours left for the day, and then you have an hour and a half taken away from the gym, right? So then you have 15 and a half hours left for the day, and then you're working for, let's say, 10 hours. So then you have 5.5 hours left for the day, and then you got to commute. So let's say it's half an hour, 1 hour each way. So now you've got 3 hours left for the day. Like, you don't have a lot of time left in the day, and you'll do shit like that. You got to cook. You got to, you know, if you got to look after kids, basically all that stuff. And it's like, do you have time to exercise twice a day? Because for me, drinking my coffee, finishing off. For me, someone who is in the fitness industry and has time, because I get to create my own day, working out twice a day is fucking hard. It is hard. Think about, you've got to get ready, go to the gym, have a training session, go home, have a shower. Let's say that takes, it's not just a 45-minute session. Absolutely not. Like, let's just say most of you spend at the gym an hour, plus the travel time, plus all that. So it's like, you know, let's say an hour and a half. 2 hour and a half sessions a day, that's 3 hours. I doubt it, okay? So if you're going to do a gym once a day and a walk for 45 minutes, okay, sweet. But I just think 2 45-minute sessions a day is stupid, in my opinion, because a lot of you can't even fucking do 1, let alone 2. Secondly, drink 4 liters a day of water. Absolutely not. Drink 4 fucking liters of water a day. That is the most, like, I don't think you guys understand, or like people understand about the whole hydration thing. Because you can overhydrate and you can cause yourself some pretty fucking bad issues if you overhydrate, right? You can lose nutrients. You can cause brain swelling. You can fucking die. People have died from overhydration. Drinking a gallon of water a day is not going to kill you, but it's not good for you. Especially everyone, like I could probably, actually, you know what? I drink over a gallon of water a day because I'm a heavy sweater and I actually train twice a day. And I'm also a 92 kilo male, right? Imagine a 56 kilo female doing 75 hard, drinking 4 liters a day. That's only 10% of her body weight she's drinking. 4 liters is about 4 kilos, you know? So like 9%. That's a lot, right? So I don't recommend a gallon of water a day. I recommend keeping hydrated, you know? But there shouldn't be a measurement of how much water you need to drink a day, because everyone's different. Everyone's got different sweat weights. Everyone's got different environments they're in. Everyone's different weights. Everyone's different sexes. Everyone sweats different. So you can't just have a broad statement of a gallon of water a day. Hydrate. Check your urine color. Is your urine color straw? Yes? Sweet, you're hydrated. If it's too light, if it's like clear, you're overhydrated. If it's dark, you're underhydrated. Use that as a hydration thing. So that shouldn't even be a challenge. Just fucking hydrate. Right? Follow a diet. 0 cheat meals for the entire 75 days. I agree with this. There shouldn't be cheat meals ever in any diet, okay? You can make meals taste great. Make roast potato and veggies taste fucking amazing. Having a good steak tastes great. Making chili con carne, mate, tastes good, you know? Just a fucking chicken salad with some extra virgin olive oil or some balsamic vinegar tastes good. So that thing, 100% agree with, right? I don't believe in cheat meals, but I also don't believe that, like, if you're going to follow a diet for 75 days straight, it shouldn't be just a boring, bland diet that's going to make you want to fucking, off yourself, right? Like, a diet should be enjoyable. It's obviously a challenge because you're trying to restrict yourself. And if you're like, all right, like, I just don't believe that you should cut out everything you enjoy in a diet. Do not cut out all the chocolate. Do not cut out all the fucking fun foods. Do not cut out takeaway. Do not cut out all these things because you will binge. Okay? Like right now, at the moment, me trying to diet, I don't know when you guys listen to this, but I'm dieting for my boxing. I still have Uber Eats twice a week, right? My Uber Eats is Guzman and Gomez and Fishbowl because they're low calorie, pretty nutritious, easy to get in without, blowing my calories out of the water, and I still get to have takeaway with my partner. She, on the other hand, gets to have whatever she wants because she's not dieting, right? Last week, she got this thing called Thirsty Bird, deep fried chicken. She loves it. She loves deep fried chicken. She had that. I had Guzman and Gomez. I had a burrito bowl. Easy. Nothing, like, no issue there, right? I still got to have something nutritious. I still got to hit my calories. I still got Uber Eats because I couldn't be fucked couldn't be fucked cooking. But I didn't have to have what she was having. So, changes, but do not restrict everything. Read 10 pages of non-fiction book a day. Absolutely agree. That's great. I think readers are leaders, and reading is one of the best things you can do for your knowledge. And take progress pics every single day. Yeah, you can do that too, So, like, for the most part, I would just make it my own 75 hard. This is what I would say. Exercise once a day, every day, okay? When I say exercise, that includes getting your steps in, all right? So if you're not training in the gym, go for an hour walk or go for an hour in the gym one a day. That's what I would say, That's easy. An hour, one day, every day. Cool? Secondly, hydrate. So just focus on your hydration by watching your urine color because people start getting to think about how much they're drinking. Easy. Read 10 pages of fiction books a day. 100%. That'd be good. Stick to a diet. Did I say that straight away? No, I said training first. Stick to a diet. Yes, 100%. Stick to a diet. Your whole fucking life's been a cheat. Do not cheat yourself. Stick to a diet. Create a good calorie plan. Do not restrict anything. Like, do not go balls to the wall. Just stick to a diet for 75 days without any fail days. All right? And take progress pictures daily. Yeah, sweet. It's like, again, I'll just adjust the hydration and adjust the training for the most part. And that's it. So, overall, it's a good thing. But again, I don't believe in the whole balls to the wall, fucking run yourself into the ground because, this is going to change your life. Because it's not going to change your life. Some people it will, the minority it will, but for the majority, it's the same thing as people doing it's nothing different than people doing an 8-week fucking challenge. It's just because people like the challenge. People want that short-term thing to be like, oh, I'm going to go fucking get this. I'm excited because humans are impatient. And we get excited, we go after something, and, 75 days is kind of like that sweet spot where it's like enough. What is 75 days? 10 weeks. 8 to 10 week diet, right? People want to fucking run for that. And then as soon as it's done, I can relax. I'll go back to old habits because you do not learn anything, unfortunately. Again, the minority do, the majority don't, right? So I hope that, got out of that. What happens to fat when you lose it? Okay, so funny story. Is it a funny story? Funny fact. Fun fact. You lose fat by breathing. Do you know that? When you're sleeping at night, you're losing body fat, right? You actually breathe it out. That's how we lose it. It's not through sweat. We lose a little bit of fat through our fecal, like shit. But it's mainly through breathing out. So there you go. So overnight, or, when we are in our calorie deficit, when we breathe, we are using fat, right? When we are losing fat, we have fat cells. Our fat cells shrink, okay? But our fat cells do not disappear. They will just shrink. And we can increase our fat cells, but we can't take out our fat cells unless you get something like liposuction, which actually removes fat cells, right? But fat cells are not just bad things either, okay? Fat cells still play a role in the body. So this is why they shrink and they don't disappear, right? So as you're losing weight, your fat cells getting smaller and smaller. There's less adipose tissue. It goes quite small. If you start to gain weight again, that fat cell will expand. And that's why we never lose fat cells, but they just get smaller or bigger. Or we can actually multiply fat cells if we get quite overweight because now we are creating more adipose tissue, which needs more fat cells, basically. So once you have fat cells, it's very hard, or it's actually quite impossible to get rid of fat cells. And that's why people do like liposuction and stuff like that, because they have gotten so overweight. And that when you lose it, that's also why there's skin elasticity and stuff like that, because as you get bigger, your skin, is stretchy, it is elastic, and it's not like a rubber band where if it comes back, it'll kind of, come back to its tension. it'll sometimes be too stretched so it's not going to bring back its tension, you know? And again, that just comes from stretched skin, but also there are still mini fat cells. Again, if you've had a lot of fat cells and you've shrunk them, they're still there. And that's actually one of the issues when it comes to, trying to keep it off, because they're always there and you can regain it. Or yeah, a lot of people regain that weight, and even more because of these things they do: drastic exercises, drastic nutrition plans, drastic challenges in general, and then they fucking put it back on. So that's one of the issues. Like, most people who do intense short bursts of things, they lose it all, they put it back on, and even more. So, you lose it by breathing out, the fat cells shrink, but they never disappear, unfortunately. How best to lose fat, and the facts on some people say dairy is bad for skin. Okay, how to best lose fat? Be in a calorie deficit and exercise. That's it. Eat less than you burn, exercise to maintain or gain muscle mass and lose body fat. It's that simple. It's that's it, right? The only way you lose body fat is by being in an energy deficit. Because when you have less energy available than you're burning, your body's going to need reserves to use that energy, and the reserves are going to come from adipose tissue. Okay? That's it. Exercise is going to help maintain muscle mass, as well as getting protein in. So you're going to maintain or gain muscle mass, and you're going to lose body fat, because when you're using muscle and when you're having enough protein to recover and repair muscle, the body's going to be like, all right, well, we seem to be using this for something. Let's use fat as a fuel source. Let's use this adipose tissue. When I say adipose tissue, it's just fat, all right? Let's use this as our fuel source, and that's what the body will do. And that's it, all right? Secondly, the facts on some people say dairy is bad for your skin or for digestion. Dairy is absolutely bad for your digestion if you are lactose intolerant. If you have lactose intolerance and there's lactose in your dairy, it's a bad time, all right? You can get lactose-free milk. You can have cottage cheese. You can have, what's the yogurt? It's called YoPro, Chobani. All those things actually have the lactase enzyme in that for you to actually be able to digest that dairy. So some of the dairy you can actually have. A hydrolyzed whey protein or a vegan protein, they are actually going to be good for someone who is lactose intolerant too. But yeah, again, does it cause digestion issues if you are someone who's lactose intolerant? 100%. If you're not, it shouldn't. Okay? Everyone blames dairy and gluten, all right? Yet when we look at the studies, that's not like the issue, even though people blame those for the issue. Like, dairy does not show up as an issue for digestion really ever, at all. Same thing as gluten. Unless, again, you have non-celiac gluten sensitivity or you're a celiac. People don't just have issues with gluten because it's gluten. Like, gluten's not this evil man that everyone like makes it out to be. It's like insulin. Everyone talks about, oh, insulin. You got to be careful of insulin. Like, well, fuck, man. Do you want to die? Because if you don't have insulin, you will fucking die, right? If you have too much insulin, you'll also die. So, and people are like, oh, well, you got to watch out again. It makes you store fat. Well, it does, but it also doesn't. So there's always kind of two sides to a coin. So same thing as gluten. If you're not gluten intolerant, like if you're literally not celiac, all right, or you do not have non-celiac gluten sensitivity, it's not gluten, for fuck's sake. And if you cut out gluten or you cut out dairy, guess what's going to happen? You're going to reintroduce that and you're going to have fucking stomach issues. And you're going to be like, oh, see, it was the dairy, it was the gluten. No, it fucking was not the dairy or the gluten. It was because you stopped eating those things and you now do not have lactase in your body, or the enzymes to break down, lactase. You do not have that in your body to break down lactose. You lack the enzymes now because you haven't eaten that in a certain period of time. And if you don't eat that, your body's like, we don't need to make this anymore. So when people bring back in dairy, oh, it's giving me issues again. Yeah, because you haven't fucking had dairy in how long? And your body's like, oh, we don't need to make this enzyme anymore. And also, when people bring back in dairy, it's never like, I'm going to bring in a bit. It's like, oh, well, I'm having a whole fucking tub of ice cream. And then you shit through the eye of a needle and you're like, oh, wow, it must be dairy. It's like, maybe it's the amount of actual fucking food you're having. All right? And then the same thing with gluten. When you have gluten, you will change your microbiome. When you don't have gluten, you'll actually change your microbiome a little bit. Because there is gut flora there that is actually helpful to break down gluten. And the same thing, you're going to have stomach issues if you bring it back in. So do not eliminate unless you know. And you can go and get tests for these things. So go and get tested, okay? But regarding acne, yes, dairy has been shown that some people do get acne from dairy. And so if you're someone who gets constant breakouts, maybe reduce your acne and see, is that actually helping you, right? Sorry, reduce your acne. Maybe reduce your dairy consumption overall and see if that actually helps reduce your acne. Okay? It's very anecdotal, so it's based on the person. It doesn't work for everyone. You know, you'll probably know quite quickly if you get acne or not from dairy, and if you don't worry about it. Okay? Like for me, I have crazy back knee because of my testosterone, not because of fucking dairy. Okay? So if I cut out dairy, it's not going to change anything for me, but it might for you. So if you are someone who has a lot of acne, especially face acne and stuff like that, maybe give it a try and see. Next question. Constant reminders to get straight back on track when you mess up. It's the same thing I say every time. You know, consistency is key no matter what. And you can have the fucking, like, I don't understand why we just think, oh, it's hard, I didn't get on, like, I didn't do what I wanted to do, I'm gonna just say fuck it, or I'm gonna stop. Like, this is hard for me to talk to people about because I don't understand what happens to make you not want to get back up or not keep progressing, you know? Like, I fucking had issues with my shins with the triathlon, so I just found another sport to do. I wasn't like, oh, well, you know, there you go, that's a failure. Might as well just not even try. We always have to apply optimism, okay? Because every door that closes, another one opens. And that's all I think about. Because there are so many opportunities here, you know? I applied for heaps of jobs when I was a kid. When I was like, you know, grade 10, grade 11 type of thing. After I dropped out of school, you know, trying for apprenticeships and stuff. I got rejected from like 12 or 13 different people. And I didn't care. They were like, I would just get something, oh, hey, you know, your application has been unsuccessful. I'm like, all right, we'll go to another one. Like, I used to go hand out my fucking resume every day, like 10 to 15 places, just to get a job. You know, especially when I first wanted a job. So I was a newspaper delivery person, you know, the kid. When I was like 12, I delivered newspapers, catalogs to people's houses, okay? Because that's all I could do. Once I turned 14, was 14? 14 and 9 months? 13 and 9 months? I think it was grade 8, so it must have been 13 and 9 months. I applied, like there's this place in town, so it's called Bamford Lane, right? There's probably like Bamford Lane at Thurrangower Drive, and like in this little block area, there's like 60 businesses. I literally took my resume and went to fucking all the businesses. I went to tire places, you know. I went to Night Owl, which is kind of the equivalent of 7-Eleven. I went to Red Rooster. I went to Woolworths. I went to Coles. I was trying to think of all the other places there. I went to a supplement shop. I went to the Noodle Box. I went to a tavern. Like, I went to all the places and just handed out my resume. Every day, handed it out. The amount of no's I got, I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'll try this place. I'll try this place. Because, like, what else am I going to do? Oh, I've been rejected again. I might as well not bother looking for a job. I don't understand. Okay? If I fuck up on my fitness, if I lose it, when I get, you know, I'm going to get my head cracked open. Not cracked open. I'm going to get hit pretty hard and probably get knocked out in boxing. It's going to happen. There's going to be someone better than me. What am I going to do? Oh, well, you know, boxing's not for me. I lost this fight. Or, oh, well, should I even bother doing boxing again? Like, fuck, man. I just learn from it and I move on. So anything that happens, just keep going. If you get back up, you just keep fucking moving forwards. All right? Because everything is going to give you a setback. There's a failure rate with everything you do. And that's it. It's what it is. You fucking fail, you get back up, you go again. Because what else can you do? Like I just feel like, okay, I just feel so lucky that I'm alive, right? I've heard people say, oh, I didn't ask to be born. And like, that like hurts my heart when people say that. When people are like, I didn't ask to be born, or I didn't ask to be brought into this world. And I'm like, you are so fucking lucky. Like, amazingly lucky. Especially everyone who said that to me, you know, we live in Australia and we have it so good here. No matter how shit things get here, we have it so fucking good, it's not funny. Okay? And so like, whenever someone says shit like that, it's just like makes me sad because every day I wake up, like, you know, people talk about writing gratefulness, you know, what are you grateful for? Like, I started writing what I'm grateful for every day, and then I just think about, like, I'm grateful for just fucking waking up and being alive for another day on this earth. Like, I get to be here alive again, no matter how bad life is, you know? When I moved to Sydney and I lived in that shoebox, like, room, like, when you guys think about Harry Potter, that's the room I lived in. Literally. Like I couldn't fit anything in there. Everything was under my bed. It was one of those like pop-up beds. And then I had a chest of drawers. And that was it. No window, no TV, nowhere to sit. Like it was just one fucking bed in there. And like, you know, you'd walk in, you'd shut the door. I could turn around to face the chest of drawers, or I could turn towards my bed and sit on my bed. I don't even legally think it was a room. But that's what I did. And even though I was there, I never once thought, why should I, you know, what am I doing here? Oh, sorry, I didn't think, what am I doing here? It's going to get better. But I never thought, I never asked to be here. I never asked to be alive. This is the fucking worst thing. I just want to, you know, I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to go back to Townsville. I'm just going to start again. Like, that never came into my mind because I'm just grateful that every day I can fucking wake up and do something with my life. Because a lot of people don't, you know. I've got 2 hands. I've got 2 feet. I've got a heartbeat. Okay? I literally have no issues that stop me from really doing anything for the most part, right? I can't run because of my shins. Fucking what was me? I've got people who can't walk, right? My fucking boo-hoo, I can't run because of my shins, okay? I've got ADHD. Boo-hoo, I can't concentrate as well as other people. Does that stop me from doing anything? No, okay? I have low testosterone. Boo-hoo, my balls don't work properly. I get put on fucking testosterone replacement, right? We can always, like, there's someone that's always got worse problems than us, right? And all I think about is how fucking grateful I am to be alive right now on this earth. And so that is anything I need, like, for me to keep pushing forwards. So when anything happens that's bad, I'm like, oh, well, fuck, man. I still have a roof over my head. I still have someone who loves me. I still have 2 good cats. I still have a family, right? People have it fucking way worse than me, you know? And so a lot of people who struggle with adversity or struggle with setbacks are the people who have it good. And it's because you have it so good that that's what is the struggle for you, right? You haven't faced adversity. You haven't really had bad things happen in your life. And then there are people, like I've got a client, man, last year, holy fuck. Like the amount of things she went through, like made me sad for her. And I was always checking up on her just to make sure she's going okay. Because like it was a rough year for her, right? She basically lost nearly everything that was close to her. But she kept waking up, she kept doing what she had to do, she was working, she was training. Like I thought so many times, this client is going to tell me, hey, I just need to stop. I can't handle this right now because of everything. And like I was expecting that all the time. But she just was like, hey, I want to do this week. I want to focus on this, you know, because she knows how important her physical health was and her nutrition was supporting her mental health. And that's why she focused on that, right? And like she, man, you want to talk about resilience? She is one resilient motherfucker, okay? Now I've got another friend who's going through a divorce at the moment, right? She's losing everything, okay? But she's still a goer and she's like very, very strong-minded. And, you know, like again, things like that build up resilience. I'm like, fuck man, you're going through it tough. But she just wakes up, like, you know, she wakes up, she does what she has to do because she's also got kids. And so I just think, you know, we just get back up and we just keep doing what we have to do. Because what else are you going to do, right? If you let life defeat you, you know, if you stop trying, that's when it's an issue. So just keep getting back up. That's all I can really say. I know it was quite long-winded, but like I don't really have advice. Just keep showing the fuck up for yourself. Cool. All right. Building muscle for women. Getting uncomfortable in a build. Yes, you have to get uncomfortable in a build. That's just hands down, plain and simple. If you want to build muscle, you are going to feel chunky. You are going to feel fluffy. You are going to put on body fat. But it's like, that's what you need to do to build muscle. Okay? What else would I recommend? Go for at least 6 months of a gaining phase. 6 months? Yes, 6 months. Muscle doesn't just fucking grow like this, all right? Think about how long trees take to grow, all right? A long time for trees to grow. Time is what we need to do anything, okay? And so when it takes to building muscle, like muscle mass is slow to build. Muscle mass is even slower to build on a female, okay? When I went from 69 kilos up to 97 kilos in 2 years, you know, which is only 28 kilos, I had the help of testosterone from a doctor, okay, which exponentially increased my muscle mass gains. It still took me 2 years, okay? So technically you could say 14 kilos each year, all right? When you break down 14 kilos, that's nearly a kilo, like, you know, that's just like 1.2 kilos a month. And again, it's not pure muscle mass. So out of all that weight I gained, let's say I gained 12 kilos of muscle, okay? So over 2 years, I gained 12 kilos of muscle. So half a kilo a month. That's nothing. Half a kilo a month. And that's because of the help with testosterone. All right? So all of you can take a step back a little bit and think about, if you want to gain muscle, it's going to take time. A long fucking time. So set yourself a 6-month goal, okay? Best time to start bulking, with you listening, is right now. You're going to be listening a little bit later. This is January 25th, okay? Best time to start bulking is January or February. 6 months from now is July, August. All right? July, August bulk, okay? From September and October, so you give yourself an 8 to 10 week cut. Let's say middle of November, so September till the middle of November, you've now lost 12 weeks worth of fat, and you're going to have considerably more muscle mass. Done. Repeat that next year. Repeat that next year. Repeat that next year. If you want the best amount of gains, okay? Because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, summer's coming. I don't want to be chunky for summer. Okay, fine. Don't want to be chunky for summer. Oh, but, you know, it's not cold enough yet. I'm going to feel like I'm a bit chunky. It's like, what do I say? You can have anything you want, but you can't have everything, right? What the fuck? Like, everyone wants the magical result. I want to gain muscle and I want to lose body fat at the same time. Well, so do I. I think everyone else does. Everyone wants that. You can't do it, all right? Making muscle requires you gaining body fat because you're in a calorie surplus. Plain and simple. Can you gain muscle on maintenance? I've actually changed my opinion. I don't really think you can do much on maintenance unless you're brand new. Can you gain muscle? I'm just drinking a little bit of coffee. Can you gain muscle? Yes, at maintenance. Is there going to be a big difference? Not really. Not really at all, you know? And so just fucking focus on gaining a little bit of weight. And like, who cares if you're a little bit fluffy or chunky? Like, literally no one is going to fucking be like, oh, you're all a bit fluffy now, aren't you? You know? No one's going to fucking say that, man. And if they do, fuck them, right? Like, the people who judge you are usually the ones that are insecure about their own body. Because why else would someone judge you, right? Unless you're unhealthy, you know, unless you're super overweight. But like, I would never say to someone, unless you can notice they're putting on a lot of body fat, right? If one of my mates is like, yeah, bro, I'm going on a fucking bulk. I'm going to gain 10 kilos in the next 2 months. I'm like, oh my God. And like, you know, he's going to be 10 kilos heavier with like 1.5 kilos of muscle mass. I'll be like, bro, you got fat because you did that wrong, you know? But if you do it smartly, and I notice someone's like trying to gain, I'm gonna be like, oh mate, someone's put on a bit too much body fat, or someone's looking a little bit fluffy. Fucking hell, man. Like, why? If someone's trying to gain muscle, fucking oath. You know how like neurotic I was, even on testosterone, being scared to gain weight because I had some fucked up, you know, mentality about I don't want to gain weight, I don't want to get fat, right? I'm glad I went through that. I'm glad that I actually put on the weight because I look a lot better than I am now, and I have a better relationship with food. But it was a mind fuck for a long time. And me being a coach, oh, people aren't going to want to listen to me because I'm overweight. Oh, people are going to think I'm chunky. Oh, this, oh, this, oh, this. No one said anything to me about gaining weight. Because I got chubby too. Like, you know, putting on 30 kilos is not just pure muscle. Like, I was pretty fucking beefy. No one left me as a client. No one commented that I was getting fat, you know. Some people were like, oh, mate, you're getting a bit big, you know. Oh, you're looking well, right? Or like, oh, someone's been finally putting on weight. But no one's like, oh, mate, you're fat. Or, oh, look, I don't want to coach with you anymore. You're a little bit heavier than you should be. Or any of those things. No one said that, you know? But I was so insecure about it. And I had so much anxiety about it because I was thinking about all these scenarios in my head, but no one ever said anything, okay? And if someone says something to you about it, well then, you know, it depends on, again, how much weight you've gained. But like, if someone's like, oh, mate, you shouldn't be bulking. I don't think you're going to gain much muscle. Like, is this person an expert? If they're not, fuck them off, okay? So, accept that you're going to be a little bit heavier and fluffier. And if you feel insecure, then you're doing the right thing, most likely. It is what it is. You know a great person to talk about this, actually? Anita Baz. I'm going to actually, you know what? Speaking of this, I'm going to message her and put her on a podcast about her gaining phases. Because I think a lot of people need to talk about gaining, especially as a female. Because, you know, I'm male. You know, you can be like, oh, but, you know, you've got muscle. Girls, a little bit harder. Look, I still came from the same fucking problematic history with my eating disorder and my body dysmorphia. So there is a lot of relatability here. You guys just need to remember that too, you know. Ashwagandha. What do I think about ashwagandha? Yes, I think it's great. You know, it's very person dependent. Ashwagandha personally doesn't work for me. I've tried it. It's kind of like, it's this thing, I can't remember what the word's called, but like, if you're someone who's high stress, it brings you down a little bit. If you're someone who's like low stress and like chill, it kind of brings you a little bit up. not into like a stress state, but like into a better state type of thing. So yeah, there's research behind ashwagandha, MK66, I think it's called, or 667. And if you're going to take it, just look at the dosages. I don't know the dosages off the top of my head, but I would recommend, if you have the spare money and you want to take it and it could be a stress reliever, take ashwagandha. Can I consume sugary cereals pre-workout? Yes, you can. Cereal is a great source of quick carbohydrates. You can have it pre-workout, you can have it post-workout. You can basically have it any time of the day as long as you're exercising, okay? All I say to people, like, me and my cereal love, I love cereal, obviously, and I have it on the daily, but it's because I have the calories for it and I tick off all my boxes first. We always have to earn our food, okay? Always get in your protein, your plants, which means your fruit, your veggies, your whole grains, your legumes, your healthy fats, all those things before you go and look at fucking cereal and all the other fun stuff. That's all I say. Earn the good food. Eat well, eat the amount of things you need to eat in a day for your daily habits. Then if you have extra calories, have your cereal, have your chocolate bar, have anything else, but fucking nail the habits first, right? Can yo-yo dieting affect your ability to lose weight? It can and it can't. All right. So what happens is as you continuously yo-yo diet, especially if you're someone who has some type of eating disorder, if you're binge purging and stuff like that, you can have thyroid issues, okay? Because you are constantly undereating and overeating. So you can cause thyroid issues, which then can affect metabolism. All right. But once you start to eat regularly and eat enough for your body again, based on how much yo-yo dieting you've done, you should be pretty sweet to get back into it. Like, I've trained a lot of females. Again, females growing up in the dieting background. Like, I've trained 50-year-olds who have been dieting since they were fucking 13. And they've still been able to lose weight. It's about creating equilibrium first. So eating enough for your actual body. Okay? Feeding them properly. Then creating a calorie deficit from that. And usually it's quite good. Will they maybe be on a little bit of a lower calorie deficit compared to other people? Yeah, maybe by like another 100 calories, but nothing crazy. The only issue that we've seen is that when it comes to, your ability to lose weight, do you have PCOS? Do you have another disease that could be causing that? Do you have hormonal balance that are fluctuating with weight imbalances? Sorry. Do you have thyroid issues? Okay. Or, I guess thinking about all this too, have you been super overweight and lost weight? Because if you've been super overweight and you've lost weight, we know by research that your BMR and your RMR is lower in general, okay? Which means it will make it harder for you to be able to lose weight. If you've come from a significant heavier weight down to a lower weight, we know that your BMR is going to be lower by about 100 to 150 calories, maybe 200, It does depend on the person. So that may be a little bit harder. But for the most part, if you're yo-yo dieting up and down within the same 10 to 15 kilos, maybe even 20, not really. Not really. I had my eating disorder for like 5 years and I stayed very, very low weight at 67 and I still thought I was fat, right? Under eating, over exercising. But now I'm eating 4,700 calories a day to maintain, so I don't think so. And research doesn't show that. And finally, is it still classed as a rest day if you do cardio? Yes. A rest day just means do not contract muscle in the gym using weights, okay? A rest day, you should still be getting your steps in. No matter what. A rest day does not mean fucking sit on your ass and do nothing. A rest day means just take some time from the weights. Don't contract the muscle. If you want to do running or something lower intensity, you can. And don't do high intensity on your rest day either, because high intensity is not a rest day, right? So any low intensity cardio or even just steps is absolutely fine in a rest day and more encouraged. Like on your rest days, if you can do your steps or you get your low intensity cardio in, happy days. It's going to benefit you more than it's going to hinder you. Okay, I don't believe in sitting around doing fuck all on your rest days because that is more of a hindrance than anything else. So yeah, that's it. And that's the Q&A, guys. Hope it was helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, you can find me on Instagram at tysonthetrainerr with 2 R's. And until next time, my friends, I will speak to you then.